Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about. And this is what happens when President Trump doesn't take advantage of the rights that he has as president, doesn't act decisively, is given bad advice. This is also what happens when people who voted for President Trump are told to trust an altruistic plan where there's a predetermined set of events that are going to take place. I've been stating that Hillary Clinton's going to get indicted since early 2016. There's a chance she might not, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a preset plan that I'm telling people is going to take place. I am a writer. I have a pulse of what's going on in politics. I've been wrong in the past, but I have a pretty good sense of what's taking place. I did say that Hillary Clinton in endless articles would lose to Trump. In The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, that was when the entire political world, aside from some amazing people, Sticks, Exenhammer being way better than me even, stating that, she would lose. But aside from me, Sticks, some other people, the majority of people said Clinton is going to win. She's going to win. She's going to win. You're an idiot for thinking anything else. And, she lost. Then Trump-Russia. I said Trump-Russia was a bunch of nonsense. I said the Steele dossier was bogus. I said all of these things, and it's all come to pass. I haven't been right about everything. But President Trump should have fired Mueller when he had the chance. This is a big problem. Huge problem, because the Southern District of New York and LA are they hate Trump more than any other cities in the world. I mean, in the world and in the country. So Andrew McCarthy believes that. Okay, let's get something clear. There is no evidence. There is no evidence to prosecute to actually put Trump in jail. He didn't do anything. This is nothing compared to purchasing the Steele dossier and outsourcing CrowdStrike through a law firm without the Federal Election Commission knowing. This is nothing compared to money flowing into the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One, Haiti, Boeing, UBS, weapons deals, 85 donors giving $156 million. This is absolutely nothing compared to transferring top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence outside of the United States government onto a server in Clinton's basement. But ladies and gentlemen, he spent 2 years, President Trump, backpedaling. He should have, and I say this because I don't want Trump to be indicted. I'm voting for him in 2020. I want him to win in 2020. I want peace between North and South Korea, something I don't think Bernie Sanders would have achieved, because I think Bernie would have been a tool of the Democratic Party, because he already, in defeat, he's a tool of the Democratic Party. In victory, he probably would have been a tool as well. I don't think he really wanted to fight. Now, honestly, I'm beginning to doubt whether Trump wants to fight. And I'm beginning to doubt, I think that he will fight back. I think that Clinton will get indicted. I think that people around her will get indicted. I think that James Comey, Andrew McCabe, all of these people will face legal consequences. We got love. Here we go again with Q. HA, most of us Q fans have been talking about corruption for decades. We're glad you finally joined the group 2 years ago. Trump will be fine, thanks. You're still a Dem at heart. Thank you so much. You've been talking about corruption for decades. That's great. So you didn't need Q. So why are you listening to 8chan? And I appreciate we got love. Thank you so very much. But it's a bunch of riddles on a message board. I appreciate the support. I've been talking about Clinton and corruption also, even before that. In 2015, I was saying she's going to get indicted. 2015, 2016. You can go and you can go and look at the reason I bring 2015 is because 2017 is when Q started. It's a message board. The people, by the way, Anthony Scaramucci apparently knows who the source is of Q. This is a Politico article. He said, "You'll never believe who it is." So if Anthony Scaramucci knows the source, it's not a top secret intelligence source. Anthony Scaramucci wasn't in government, what for like a couple of months only. But aside from that, I've been talking about this. If you type in H.A. Goodman Salon, H.A. Goodman The Hill, Clinton emails, you can get my articles. June, Hillary Clinton, 2016, Hillary Clinton's private server contains special access program intelligence. So in 2015, I wrote a Congress blog, NSA Clinton emails. This is in The Hill. Why the NSA should disclose all of Hillary Clinton's emails. This is in March of 2015, a couple of days after. So you've been talking about it for decades, and I do appreciate that. But you and I haven't been deceiving people. You and I haven't been saying trust the plan. You and I are living in reality. And, you don't have to be a Trump supporter to dislike Clinton. It's a message board on 8chan. I mean, we got love. I appreciate your support and everything, but it's a message board, and it didn't say that Trump was. It says trust Sessions. It said trust Sessions. It said Assange is free. It said JFK Jr. is alive. I mean, what more has to happen for people to say this thing is a complete psyops? And now we have this, and I'll get to this in a second. We got love. We listen to everything. That's why we are here, my friend. We love you, and I love you. And Q just did a lot of organizing of what we know. Well, you're smart then. You are not the person that I would be worried about. We got love. You're not the type of person I'd be worried about. You're grounded individual, intelligent, able to do research on your own. Yeah, everything. People like you, people like me, fine. But it's the people who come at me like, oh, JFK Jr. is alive. That's dangerous. You are not like that. You have a mind of your own. But there are a lot of people who don't have a mind of their own. Like, there's a rebuttal to, hey, it just helps me research. Fine. But there are people who say trust Sessions. Oops, Sessions gone. Trust Huber. Oops, Huber hasn't done anything. JFK Jr. is alive. He said tippy top. In baseball, real quick, and I'll move on from Q, I promise. But in baseball, like there's like signs, right? You have to, it's like this riddle. Oh, Trump said tip top. Who cares? You think that the NSA, like some patriot in the NSA is going through 8chan? So like people on YouTube could decipher the riddles with different, like, oh, he said tip top, he's real. I mean, whatever. But this is also a problem. Let me read this to you, because when people, and I'm not talking about you. See, this is the thing. I'm not talking about you, we got love, and I'm not talking about a lot of people. I'm talking about people who think that JFK Jr. is alive, that Assange is in United States, that he needs to testify to bring everyone down. All of these things. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I have I know everything there is to know about Q. I've read the posts. There's appeals to patriots. There's Bigley. And it's like the post is written by a marketing executive, not by an intelligence officer. An intelligence official would never go through Reddit. I'm telling you this, so I'm just letting everybody know. But did Q talk about Trump getting indicted? Press 2 if Q talked about Trump getting indicted, or press 1 if he didn't. Press 1 right now if Q talked about Trump getting indicted by the Southern District of New York, possibly. Is Mike working? Thank you, Dave Whalen. So I even forgot what I said. Of course, well, I hope Trump will never get indicted. But you know what? It's like, okay, so Fishman, what do you think of Barr, the Bush administration swamp creature? I'm hopeful. But here, I'm hopeful about, thank you very much, Fishman. I'm hopeful. But let me read you this. Former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy thinks President Trump will face indictment in Manhattan. This is the Daily Beast. I'm not a big fan of the Daily Beast. They wrote a vile hit piece on me, or published a vile hit piece on me. But they're giddy on the left. They're super happy, and I don't think there's any evidence. But if they indict Trump before he indicts Clinton, it's not going to be good. Because then they'll have like some leverage and they'll say, oh, he's only doing this. He's only doing this for political purposes. And that's fine. That's fine. But at the same time, let me read you this. Former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy thinks President Trump will face indictment in Manhattan. The Cohen plea deal, even though it doesn't have any evidence to it, can be interpreted. The law can be interpreted that he tried to influence the campaign by getting his attorney to pay Stormy and McDougal. Now, that is not actually a campaign finance violation. However, there's a case to be made. Okay? Now, this is about reasonable prosecutors. You can have this, that in reality, no reasonable prosecutor would bring this case. Comey said no reasonable prosecutor would indict Clinton, even though we know that James Baker wanted to indict Clinton. That was a cover-up. This is a fishing expedition to simply find something to take down the president. He waited too long. He didn't take advantage of the power that he had as president. He had a Republican House and Republicans in the Senate. He was never going to get impeached if he fired Mueller. He should have fired Mueller. But that's another story. Former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy thinks President Trump will be indicted in Manhattan federal court on campaign finance charges. McCarthy, a contributing editor to National Review. So Andrew McCarthy is a very intelligent guy. The reason I'm kind of worried is because McCarthy is an intelligent guy. I think the chances are it doesn't happen. But they hate him. They want him out as president, ladies and gentlemen. And there is no friendly person speaking to people on HN from the NSA. President Trump is surrounded by political adversaries. And the only people around him, like Rudy Giuliani, he got late. He could have had General Michael Flynn near him. If he had represented from Michael Flynn, what he should have done is said, you know what, the heck with you. I'm not gonna let this guy resign. Then the whole thing, oh well, Flynn didn't tell Pence. Who cares if Flynn told Pence or not? That's irrelevant. What does that even mean? You don't need to tell Mike Pence anything if you're the national security advisor. They got Flynn out by media pressure by Al Franken. Once Flynn was out, all his political adversaries said, well, we could take advantage of this guy. I get it. Well, this is not fear. This is, I'm not spreading any fear. This is Andrew McCarthy of the National Review. I'm telling people I think it's, a serious issue. So he said this on Fox and Friends, made the prediction that in an appearance on Fox and Friends when discussing Robert Mueller's ongoing investigation, citing the Southern District of New York sentencing memorandum in the case, and maybe a little fear is good for Trump supporters. Maybe there is no plan. Maybe Clinton won't get indicted. I think she will, but it's probably good to get a little fire going underneath your rear ends. It's probably good to get a little angry and frustrated. It's probably good to let Trump know that we all want some action, not just assuming that something altruistic will take place. Citing a Southern District of New York sentencing memorandum in the case of Michael Cohen, the one-time Trump lawyer who will be sentenced December 12th for making illegal pre-election payoffs to two women. In the memo, prosecutors state that Cohen acted, quote, in coordination with and direction of individual one, who was publicly identified as Trump. Now, look, I'm not saying there's evidence to put Trump in jail. There isn't. The defense will be, hey, you can't prove this. John Edwards, did worse, and he didn't. So you can't prove anything. This is only to harass and hurt Trump. But they'll take this and they'll run with this. And if it happens, I can't see it happening, but it could. It's something that people should be concerned with, especially if a very intelligent, very reputable person like Andrew McCarthy thinks it will happen. In the memo, prosecutors state that Cohen acted in coordination and at the direction of individual one. It's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, look, Cohen probably he paid off women that Trump had sex with. Fine. That's not a crime. What they're saying is it's a crime because of the campaign. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's a crime because of the campaign. He was trying to influence the election. But Hillary Clinton influenced the election by purchasing the Steele dossier. Again, there's a double standard. There's a complete and utter double standard. The Southern District is in Hillary's pocket, as one of my friends has told me before. It is another extension of the Clinton campaign. So they keep on weaseling and finding new avenues to torment Trump. And he could have simply fired Mueller. Nothing would have taken place. But he didn't. Fine, he didn't. Now he has to simply go ahead. Before they go after him, he has to get Matthew Whitaker to find out how she transferred top secret intelligence, ask Mike Pompeo, and then just write the indictments then and there. What is he waiting for? Trump is like waiting for them to actually do their best to take him down. He has to fight back. He's waiting too long. He's waiting too long. And in coordination with it, they are clearly going after the president on campaign finance violations, McCarthy said. And I think if you read the sentencing memo, the Southern District filed in Cohen's case, it's clear that Trump is the target and will be indicted eventually. I can't come to any conclusion, he also said. By the way, McCarthy likes Trump. Andrew McCarthy, I believe, voted for Trump. Andrew McCarthy is a National Review writer, former prosecutor, very intelligent, very, very intelligent guy. Now, Trump is right. It totally clear. Michael Cohen's plea deal clears Trump. We don't know if there's any evidence that Trump directed Cohen. There's probably not evidence, but the thing is, they don't even need the evidence to hurt Trump. They used a Steele dossier. They used a Steele dossier with zero evidence to create this overreaching probe. They used Comey's memos. Oh, he was mean. I said to create the Mueller probe. You don't think that the Southern District of New York, which is outside the Mueller probe, so when the Mueller probe ends, the Southern District could simply say, okay, well, we're going to indict Trump. Trump needs to act quickly. If he doesn't act quickly, I don't look. They're going to indict a president. He's going to run on re-election 2020 as a president who was indicted by the Southern District. Yeah, on ridiculous nonsense. I get it. Must be given first by the D. Yeah, well, this former prosecutor said he thinks he's going to be indicted. What do I think he will be? Probably not. There's a chance he will. You have to understand, there are people with power who are willing to act Unlike Trump, he has not acted. He has not. He has waited for. He can't even declassify the FISA. There's still FISA documents. He's waiting. He wanted to declassify, and he's like, "Oh well, we're going to redact it." He has not. Now he has presided over peace between North and South Korea. He's not getting credit for that. I like that. That's a great thing. When people get on me, they're like, "You were Bernie, bro, and then you were Trump supporter. You're crazy." No, peace between North and South Korea, foreign policy that isn't neocon is enough of a reason right then and there. Then you have a great economy. Then you have him going after Comey and all of them. But at the same time, okay, here's how we know Q is a bunch of nonsense. Sessions was the biggest Democratic operative you could ever find. 2 years wasted. He recused himself from everything. And this is Andrew McCarthy, former federal prosecutor and Trump supporter, and a guy who has called out Mueller probe, and a guy who knows that Trump was framed because he's written about Trump being framed. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm saying is this should concern people. This should concern people. What was Trump waiting for? I mean, I guess he couldn't do anything because Sessions wouldn't allow him to do anything, but Whitaker has been there. Whitaker has been there for a couple weeks now. I'm sorry. I like Trump because I thought that he would fight, and I'm waiting for him to fight. I like him. But he's pulling a Bernie Sanders. Abracadabra. He's pulling a Bernie. Look, if Trump doesn't fight back, he will be gobbled up, swallowed up, and chewed up and spit out. And Clinton has a chance if they get him on, if they indict him on charges that are completely trumped up, no pun intended. Fox News, Andrew McCarthy, why Trump is likely to be indicted by Manhattan U.S. Attorney. This angers me. They tried to there was a coup against the president. The stupid assistant attorney general, deputy attorney general, tried to wiretap him, try to utilize the 25th Amendment. They used a Democratic and Hillary Clinton purchased Steele dossier and CrowdStrike to take pictures of the server because they wouldn't give the server to the United States government. And Comey and all of them used the Steele dossier. And the only reason they got the FISA warrants, even Sally Moyer said that in testimony, the top legal analyst, is because of the Steele dossier. And James Baker, Comey's legal counsel, said that he wanted to indict Clinton. They got away with everything. This is not part of the message board 8chan plan. Sorry. They got away with everything. Now, the evidence is there. I've been talking about it since 2015. The evidence is there. She transferred top secret intelligence outside the United States government. She destroyed evidence. She had people cover for her. She had people lie. And Brian Pagliano's 4 years of emails are missing. He could have brought all these things up. How did she transfer the emails? How did she transfer the top secret intelligence outside the United States government? If he brought that up a year ago, Sessions would have no choice. If he kept on tweeting about that, Sessions would have no choice. People would inquire. He has the CIA Gina Haspel. He has the State Department Mike Pompeo. He now has, let's say for 2 years, he couldn't do anything because Sessions, whom you shouldn't have trusted because he's an abomination. So anyone who told you to trust Sessions is an obvious psyops. Activate sessions. Tippy top, tippy top, ticky, 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 ticky. Oh my God, he's so great. Obviously, didn't work. So Sessions is out. 2 years, like the best fullback in football you could ever. The guy's like 4'2", but he was like, just the best fullback, like Moose Johnson for the Cowboys, or who was the Niners fullback? Niners had a great fullback. Forgot his name. But finally, you have Matthew Whitaker. You have Gina Haspel at CIA. You have Mike Pompeo at State Department. What you have 3 of the 4. There's Noel Francisco, Matthew Whitaker. There's another guy, and then there's Rosenstein. Okay, Rod Rosenstein. I can't believe that Rod Rosenstein hasn't made some kind of deal, because he's there now. You simply call up Matthew Whitaker, and you say, let's get the ball rolling, because they're about to indict my behind for completely trumped up charges. Even Rudy Giuliani was like, well, if they do, on Twitter, Rudy Giuliani is like, let me get you the Twitter post that you should really worry about. This is an actual post that actually makes some sense. Here, I don't want to hear this from Rudy Giuliani, even though he's awesome, but this really worries me. No collusion, no obstruction, now campaign finance, but payment to settle lawsuits are not clearly a proper campaign contribution expenditure. No responsible lawyer would charge a debatable campaign finance violation as a crime. You're talking about the Southern District of New York. Do something, President Trump. Do something. You're going to allow them to just kick you in the rear end again and 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 again. The whole point of voting Trump is that he fights. If he doesn't fight, then you have a great foreign policy. Yeah, you have a good economy. There are some other positives, but that's I mean, for me, it was foreign policy number 1, and the fact that he fights number 2. He takes on corrupt, unelected officials who want to steer and decide the course of U.S. foreign policy. But if he's not doing that, then he's a Bernie Sanders. And you have millions of people becoming complacent, very complacent. Trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. How do you know the plan? From God? No, from 8chan. Oh, that plan. And even Anthony Scaramucci's like, if you once you know who this is, so wait, if Scaramucci knows who it is, he can't be some kind of high-level asset. But Rudy Giuliani alluded to the fact that, yeah, it could happen. No responsible lawyer would charge a debatable. What? How do you know that there are responsible lawyers in the Southern District of New York? Larry, trust the flan. Who is this? It's Andrew McCarthy. He's awesome. He's very intelligent. Let's see if we can hear him explain.
Supposedly meant a conspiracy between the Trump people.
Who is this? It's Andrew McCarthy.
Oh,
sorry. He's awesome. He's very sorry. All right, hold on.
In order to hack the election, in other words, to do this cyber espionage plot that affected the Democratic email accounts that were ultimately put out by WikiLeaks. They don't have that. I don't think they've ever had that. Seems to me that they've now moved to a theory that the Trump campaign was penetrated by Russian intelligence and by the Kremlin, and that what they may be trying to do is show that on the Trump end of that, officials of the campaign and maybe ultimately the administration were irresponsible in how they handled those contacts. And we're talking about people like Manafort here. That's all very interesting. It wouldn't be a crime.
Right. I was going to
but
say
it could be obviously very embarrassing.
Right. I was going to say, I think Alan Dershowitz said there's a sin and then there's a crime. So show me the crime. He said that last night on Tucker.
Right. Yeah. Well, there are mortal sins and venial sins too. But I think they're trying for a mortal sin here.
But what you're laying out to me, I think that the focus on any campaign finance violations, and correct me if I'm wrong.
So he's going to talk about campaign finance violations. This is interesting. Andrew McCarthy is a very, very, very intelligent guy. He actually supports Trump, I believe. He supports Trump. He's a writer for the National Review. He's not like, a Paul Ryan conservative. He's spoken about how the Mueller probe should be ended. Henry Wilson, all I want for Christmas is interesting. Please, Santa. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Thank you, PGTMR. Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Henry. So this is interesting, everyone. Check it out. Okay, check it out.
Usually not criminal, correct? They're usually not treated, campaign finance violations, as criminal charges. But you look at what is in the filing here in the Southern District of New York versus what is in the filing from the Mueller team, and you see the tentacles, how far afield this investigation has gone. Originally, the special counsel's mandate was to look into collusion with Russia to essentially, as you said, hack the election. But now you have something altogether different, basically potentially being a problem for the president.
Yeah, I think you're quite right about that. It's also the history of special counsel investigations. They start here, and then 3 or 4 years down the line, they end up someplace that's often remote from where they started. The other interesting thing along those lines that you mentioned, Dagan, the campaign finance stuff is usually not handled as a felony prosecution. I think that's characteristic of a lot of what's gone on in this investigation. So you have these FARA violations, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is typically not handled as a the process crime here is different, I think, than other independent and counsel investigations of administrations. For example, with respect to the Clinton investigation back when in the Lewinsky scandal,
he's trying to
thing that the independent counsel was assigned to investigate and got permission to investigate was Flynn would be a witness at.
Well, I want to move on to this because we've kind of touched on it, but we have the incoming chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, vowing to shut down the GOP probes. Listen to what Congress.
All right, I can't get the exact, but the Andrew McCarthy, why Trump is likely to be indicted by Manhattan U.S. Attorney, and he was talking. I mean, I can't get to the exact quote. I don't know why. Let's see if he
pressure on these individuals. So that's another thing that really bothers people.
Yeah, and the process crime here is different.
Oh my God.
And then 3 or 4 years.
Lord.
They're trying for a mortal sin here. Because a lot of these people who would be cooperating.
What are next steps here? What should we watch for? Of course, the Mueller report, but what else?
Well, I think we're looking at a likelihood of more charges down the line. Both the Southern District case, Dagan, and Mueller's investigation, if you read these two documents that we got, they talked about active grand juries. I think they said that Manafort, for example, was in the grand jury as late as November. And the Southern District also talked about pending investigations that are going on in the office that Cohen's information was relevant to. So I think we're going to see more charges.
And when do you think the Mueller report comes out? Any idea?
No, I don't think he's in as big a hurry as a lot of people seem to think. I do think it's winding down because a lot of these people who would be.
So he alluded to more charges, and then the whole thing is why Trump is likely to be indicted by Manhattan U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy. This is an opinion piece. I tried to get the actual quote from him, but I couldn't. But the whole thing is it's this article right here. by Andrew McCarthy, and I played the actual tape. But to begin with, the campaign finance laws do not just prescribe limits on spending, they mandate disclosure. The sentencing memo for Cohen argues that the hush money payments were not merely unreported. It states that Cohen and the Trump Organization, the president's company, went to great lengths to conceal them by fraudulent bookkeeping. Equally significant, Cohen was not charged with merely making illegal donations. He was charged in the first campaign finance count with causing a company to make illegal donations. This was the offense centering on Carrie McDougal. Okay, according to prosecutors, this was involves David Pecker, a longtime friend of the president. So he got immunity. American Media, who controls National Enquirer. So notably, prosecutors have been giving Pecker and Dillon immunity for prosecution. So, the way they work is when they give Borrell Joe wins. What do we do if Trump fails? I feel like he's the last hope for our country. Borrell wins. Thank you so very, very much. You never, I don't think we ever should give up at all. But I do think that eventually the criminal behavior, the criminality, the immorality will catch up to them. It did when they lost the election. I think eventually it will. I think that Trump will act quickly and decisively the beginning of next year, or hopefully before then. Borrell wins. Thank you so very much. Thank you. But at the same time, that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's like Trump needs to know that he will lose his base or lose supporters if he doesn't act decisively. There's evidence of Clinton's crimes, a mountain of evidence. There's not really evidence. So he goes on, Andrew McCarthy goes on to say, it's not about whether there's evidence or not to convict Trump. There's evidence to indict Trump, and you don't even need a reasonable prosecutor. Because you have Michael Cohen saying, well, I'm going to plead that yes. Then there's going to be a constitutional issue. Then it'll probably go to the Supreme Court. But then who knows? There might be emails or, something pointing out that the Southern District was corrupt to its core. But even then, that it wouldn't matter too much. The point is he slept behind the wheel. Now, he needs to act quickly. He's sleeping. And I just, it's like he's not going to be able to. I'm not saying that he will get indicted. I'm saying that if Andrew McCarthy says it's likely, then there's a possibility, and everyone should be concerned. Cohen doesn't need evidence because the way they work, the way Democrats work is they hide, conceal, rip up subpoenas on their end, and attack, and then do everything possible to frame Trump using no evidence and get him on something that has nothing to do with Trump-Russia. It doesn't matter, though. You see, they want retribution. They don't care. It's literally the ends justify the means with them. They don't care. See, not to be rude, they don't have an 8chan message board. You know who they have? The head of the FBI. They had Sessions who worked for Trump. They have the Southern District. They have Peter Strzok. That's who they have. They don't have message boards. They have people who act, cover up, frame, and now possibly indict Trump. And they're ruthless, and they will act, and they will be ruthless, and they will go after his daughter. They'll go after his family. They don't care. They don't care. Meanwhile, Trump is like, what's he waiting for? He has the government. He's the president. He's president of the United States of America. He can declassify anything. And now he's risking getting indicted by the Southern District that has no ties to Mueller, has no direct ties to the DOJ. I mean, it's state. It's the state. It's not. I mean, the federal government can't dictate what goes on in the Southern District. You have an obvious cover-up with Clinton. You have already enough information to indict, enough evidence to indict. What's he waiting for? That's the problem with the trust the plan. It's stupid. It breeds complacency. Bruce Smith, special counsel illegally gained evidence. Any case should be thrown out. Of course. Of course, Bruce Smith. Of course. And I say this with all due respect. If Trump was looking at this as like a chess game, he's losing. He's going to lose the game. In chess, if you lose too many of your best pieces, you're likely going to lose the game. The thing is, he's waiting and sleeping on all of this. He's waiting and sleeping on all of this. Oh, 10 seconds in. Okay, thank you, Phoebe Beach. Thank you. Thank you, Phoebe. Okay, so let's try this again. Thank you, Phoebe. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's try this.
Well, I wouldn't be celebrating it if I was at the White House. I think there's two different things going on here, which is natural since we have two different sets of prosecutors looking at this. The case in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, the Southern District of New York case, as far as the president is concerned, that really involves campaign finance violations. And what I'd be concerned about is if you read the sentencing memo the Southern District filed, it, number one, looks like a celebration of the campaign finance laws and how important they are to our system. There's a lot of people don't like the campaign finance laws, but they are the law, and the Southern District really champions them in a big way. I think that's important because it's clear that they have implicated the president in the two campaign finance violations that Cohen pled guilty to and will be sentenced on. They have the president basically directing Cohen to commit these offenses. So, these are two felonies that this guy pled guilty to, and they have the president directing it. Now, the standards are different for the candidate than they are to other contributors. So there's some profound legal issues about whether the fact that Cohen is pled guilty to these offenses means the president is implicated in something that, as to him, is a crime, but he's certainly within their crosshairs on that. So that's something to be concerned about. I think on the Mueller end, which is one set.
So, I mean, he states directly, though, in his op-ed, why Trump is likely to be indicted by Manhattan U.S. Attorney. This is yesterday. So, I mean, this is a serious, serious thing. And thank you, Phoebe Beach, for letting me know the location. MAGA Truth, trust the scam. Thank you. Bruce Smith. Yeah, special counsel illegally gained evidence. Of course, but that's not, they don't care. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Democrats, they act. The Republicans did not act. They've wasted 2 years. Trump failed to fire Mueller. He should have fired Mueller and should have said, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? You don't have any evidence. If he fired Mueller, he wouldn't be dealing with all of this. And that's the thing. I mean, they don't act. They're not acting. They're not acting on. They're not acting on good faith here. They don't care about Nixon didn't go to jail. He was pardoned by Ford. Nixon was pardoned by Ford. The thing with, and there was a cover-up. Look, Trump almost certainly directed Cohen to pay people he had romantic relationships with. That's not a crime. They're trying to say it's a crime during the election. The issue here is a willingness to indict, a willingness to act, a willingness to do anything possible to take down Trump, and an unwillingness of Trump to do anything possible to take down Clinton. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. Trump did not break any laws. He really didn't break any laws. He did, look, if you wanted to indict Trump on it, you could. But it would mean that you'd have to have some ruthless prosecutors. Yeah. And all I can say is that if he gets indicted, he needs to act quickly and indict Clinton for actual crimes. Maybe he's waiting for that. I mean, honestly, maybe he's waiting for that. Who knows? The whole chess thing also, look, there's only two-dimensional chess. Okay, I don't know, like 5D, 6D, like if he's playing any chess, he's like behind by 7 moves already, Trump. He won the election, but primarily because Bernie lost or was cheated. Now, I'm glad, let me make this point. I'm glad Trump won. Trump's foreign policy would probably be better than Bernie's foreign policy because Bernie would be quickly devoured by the Democratic Party like he was after losing. Bernie did not really have a spine. For a moment, it seemed like he was going to fight, but then, you know what? He just folded. But Trump has waited too long. Now there's something in the Southern District where unethical prosecutors can just try to indict a president. And it's because he didn't fire Mueller. And had he fired Mueller, the media would have gone nuts, but they do that anyway. There's really not that much difference from the intensity of media outrage from firing Mueller to the normal media outrage. The Helsinki meeting with Putin is the most ridiculous, absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. We don't even know if the DNC was hacked. We're relying on a CrowdStrike assessment. And they were like, oh my God, Putin. Obama sold uranium to Putin. That's okay. Not a problem. But hacking the DNC is worse than the Obama, and they didn't even hack the DNC. So no, I mean, I don't want to be, look, I don't want anyone to lose hope. This is not like my motivation. This segment is not about the sky is falling. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. The Southern District also will get a lot of heat if they go after Trump. So, I mean, it works both ways. It works both ways. I'm not saying it's likely to happen. I'm saying if Andrew McCarthy, there's a chance. And if Andrew McCarthy thinks it can happen, that's a really big problem. A really big problem. And if it happens before he presides over a DOJ that indicts Clinton and people around her, And you're talking another long haul battle. So, this is just, it's good to be positive, and I've been positive more than I've been negative. I'm always forward thinking generally. But you have to, what's in front of us here, there is no 5D chess. Not every single messed up thing has a positive, if you get into like a 6-car pileup, it's very hard to be like, oh, this is the best thing possible, At the end of the day, we're better off that this happened. Some things are just, you're not better off they happened. Mick Dorton, thank you. With some things, you don't want them to happen. And like, when is Trump going to act? Like, at this point right now, I just want Trump to act like Mueller. Because Mueller is absolutely ruthless, completely unethical, has no evidence, yet because he had no evidence, then just tried to find something to get Trump on, handed the ball off to the Southern District with other Democrats. So it's basically, you have the Democratic Party, the extension of the Democratic Party is the media, then the Southern District, then the Mueller probe. And Trump is just like twiddling his thumbs. And then there's a segment of the population that's like, everything's going to work out. Yes, this is going to happen. This is 17,000D chess. This is 17 trillion, billion, trillion, billion, trillion, billion, trillion, billion dimensional chess. He's up by 30 moves. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's getting outmaneuvered. He's getting outplayed. At a certain point, if it's the third quarter, you're down by 15, start throwing the ball. Don't just run up the middle. Start blitzing if you have to. Do something. Act decisively. If we have 2 more years of the Mueller probe, 2 more years of Trump on the hot seat and the media just, frothing at the mouth, I really do fear that Trump will lose, and I hope that he wins. I think he's on pace to win. I do believe he's on pace to win. But, it's like he needs to act. Clinton eventually will get indicted. But it's just, he's wasting time. I'm reading this. And they're even like, the Q people are even trying to take over the French. It's just unbelievable, dude. It's like unbelievable. What is with this stupid letter? You know what also? Quack. That also starts with Q. They're taking over the French. If Martians landed, they'd put a Q on the Martian. It's like, oh my God. Enough. They're in the South Pole. They're in France. They're probably in like the Titanic. Like, hey, look. So, Paul Sperry has some really, really, really amazing. Paul Sperry has some amazing insights into all of this. Some amazing insights. I just want to let you know something. If Trump gets indicted before Clinton, I'm going to be beyond upset. Just to let you know. Beyond upset. Because this is like, insanity. Now, of course, Salon publishes all the articles that I used to publish. Clinton messed over the Democrats, how Bill Hillary and the Democratic leadership gutted progressivism. This is August, late August. I'm a Trump supporter. Even if Bernie were to win the nomination, I would still vote for Trump. But just goes to show that, let's see here. Matthew Whitaker is there for what? Till June or till or until, oh my God, what's happening oh my God, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. They tried to make Trump, like Macron was like, oh yeah, Trump is this strong man, horrible person. Now look what's taking place. It's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Agent Pepsi won. If Trump is charged in New York, there'll be cities are going to burn. Oh, I hope not. As threatened of POTUS acts. The thing is, like, Agent Pepsi won. I hope not, but I hope that Trump just, because this is not it's just not good. He needs to act. President Trump, you need to act. You need to act decisively and quickly. If you don't act decisively and quickly, you are at risk of getting outmaneuvered. Larry, that's awesome. Pan Lu, I agree with you on that. And honestly, this could be like, okay, Trump indicts Clinton, which would be amazing. And then they try to indict Trump on campaign finance violations. And it's not even like, one will be the Espionage Act, one will be campaign finance violations. And the actual Federal Election Commission chairman stated that it's not a campaign finance violation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. What I'm trying to say is that Trump is sleeping behind the wheel. The Democrats, Mueller, the media have been absolutely ruthless, have indicted people based on nonsense, have done everything that Trump should be doing with the evidence he possesses. He possesses evidence. Do something. Go where the evidence takes you. There's no evidence that Trump committed campaign finance violations because he would have made those payments even without a campaign. Thus, it doesn't make them campaign finance violations. But Clinton, actually, I wrote an article in the Daily Caller. Clinton should be indicted under campaign finance violations, not Trump. She's the one who funneled money through through her law firm. And her law firm met with the FBI. And we can go on forever. The whole thing is completely topsy-turvy. Trump needs to follow the evidence, and the evidence is going to take him to Espionage Act indictments, RICO charges, all of these things. But he needs to act, do something sooner rather than later. If this is chess or football or any competition, he's like 10 moves behind, 30 points down. Yeah, he won the election, but he snuck up on the competition. They've been gearing and ready for him for 2 years. He's been on the defensive for 2 years. He has his Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker. He has no excuse now. Zero excuse. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much to my super chat. Have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic evening. I think that indictments I've been saying are going to take place. I know that Clinton eventually will get indicted. I think 2019, something special is going to take place because you have Matthew Whitaker. And anyone who told you to trust Sessions, obvious, didn't know what they were talking about. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe. Thank you to my super chat. Thank you.